Okay, great. Cool. All right, everybody. So let's go because we have got a lot of stuff to cover. Now, look, I've got Valerie here who is monitoring the chat box and the Q&A box for me. So I could focus on this, and then she'll let me know that, hey, we have got questions. This is probably going to go today about 75, 90 minutes, something like that. Depends on questions, depends on our special guests and how engaged we get with them. I've got some great guests that are going to join us here. And so hang out. And by the way, at the end, I have got 5 copies of the 7 Secrets to Becoming a Wealthy Contractor. And we are going to be giving these books away. Sorry, I'm rearranging furniture. We will be giving these books away at the end of the webinar. So you got to stick around. There's going to be a lot of good stuff here. Okay, so why don't we start off with some good news? And of course, with good news, there also comes a little bit of bad news, but let's start off with good news. So good news, there is more money than there's ever been, ever. There's more wealth than there has ever been. There is more opportunity than there has ever been. And we are living in times of unprecedented opportunity, yes, even with the craziness that's going on in the world. Now, there is always craziness in the world, right? It's just how we kind of view that craziness and how we react to that craziness. Now, even with all of this good news, though, there is some bad news. And that bad news is there are way too many contractors that are working way too hard for way too little. Too many are struggling when they should be prospering. And so I'd like to do something to try and change that. In fact, that's what the Wealthy Contractor is all about. So today, we are going to talk about and dive into kind of what's been going on and how we react to it, and what are some things that we can do to not only get through this, but come out on the other end smarter, stronger, and wealthier. There are a lot of people that are doing really, really well during all of this. People are using this time or have used this time. I mean, as we're recording this, what is today? It's June 17th, middle of June. Most everybody's back to work, and the economy looks like it is starting to ramp back up again. There are still some states that are shut down and all of that stuff. But what we can't lose sight of is that we can use not only the time that we had over the last 90 days, but we can really use any time as a time for us to grow, to stretch our mindset. You've heard me say this a lot before: success leaves clues. And you don't have to develop into the leader that you want to be, the business owner that you want to be, get the success that you crave and that you deserve by yourself. Let other people help you. As part of our mission at the Wealthy Contractor, we want to help bring you stories of encouragement, stories of success, stories of wealth. Because ultimately for us, it's really all about helping you achieve more success, wealth, and freedom. So today, we are going to share some key principles on how you can optimize your mindset during these times and forward. Okay, so it's not only about what's happened, it's also about what are we going to do now going forward. All right. Now, today I have 3 live special guests and 1 virtual, not virtual, but like video special guests. So I've got 4 special guests. And you've seen and heard, if you listen to the podcast, they will be familiar to you, but they are great guests, and they've got some really great insights, key insights to share with us. I am not going to bore you with my whole background. So for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm co-founder of G4 Marketing Group. G4 Marketing Group provides relationship marketing services for a couple hundred home improvement companies around the country, and some names that you would know, some names that you might not know. I am also the host of the Wealthy Contractor podcast. I am the author of the book, The 7 Secrets to Becoming a Wealthy Contractor. And we are also the producers of the Accelerate Live 2020 event. Now, all that stuff may be well and good to give you some of my background, but I think this is probably a much better reason, all right? So I have been there. Wherever you are, I'm sure I have been there. So I started in home improvement when I was 21, and I worked my ass off for almost 20 years. At the end, my last company built that up to an $11 million business, had over 30 franchises across the country, across North America. I was really good at certain things in the business, especially the marketing and the business development. But guess what? Guess what? Still at the end, lost everything. Lost everything. Look at that. Boom. Bankrupt. Lost it all. Had to start over at 40 years old or 41 years old, one of the two. Had to start completely over from scratch. Now, if I can help 1 or 2 people not have to go through all of the pain that I went through and that I put my family through, then we are going to be successful. So a lot of what you are going to see here today is me, from my own experience. What are the things that I've learned over the 30 years of being on my own as an entrepreneur, first as a commission-only salesperson, but as an entrepreneur? What are some of the things that I've learned? Now, I'll tell you, at 52 years old, I hate to even say the number, but I've learned a couple of things. And luckily, so not luckily, I don't really believe in luck, but through experience and a lot of hard work, a great partner, great clients, and a whole lot of hard work, mostly up here, I've discovered that business is more about mindset than it is about skills, okay? And so let's kind of think about, what are skill sets? Skill sets is being able to sell. Skill sets is being able to install. Skill set is being a good bookkeeper. Skill set is being a good production manager. And those things will help. The challenge, though, is when the thinking becomes, if I could just get better at fill in the blank, selling, if I could just get better at lead generation, if I could just get better at, or do more of this. See, a lot of people think that if I want to double my income, I have to work twice as hard. If I want to triple my income, I have to work 3 times as hard. Well, what if you want to grow your income by 10 times? Can you really work 10 times harder? Can you really work 10 times longer? Does somebody that makes, let's just say, $1 million a year work 10 times longer and harder than somebody that makes $100,000 a year? No. In fact, more than likely, they probably work less, because it's not so much about the skill as much as it is about thinking, okay? The fact is, you can't muscle your way to success, wealth, and freedom. When I say muscle your way, it's like, think about, one of the great example I can give you is by becoming a better installer of windows, let's say. Yes, you can achieve, look, I have clients that, two brothers, they sell about 1 million each a year, and they live a great life. They don't want to get bigger. They want to be where they're at, okay? Which is wonderful. God bless them. That's great. But most of the people I run into, most of the people that are probably here are like, they want to grow. They want more, right? And the problem is that we think that if I could just do more, if I could just do it longer, if I just do it harder, that somehow I'm going to get the success and the wealth and the freedom that I crave. And from my experience, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that, especially when your focus is on skill sets, okay? See, the thing is, skill set can be bought. I can buy great salespeople. By the way, in my company, I have 2 great salespeople. Pay them a lot of money. Guess what? They're a lot better at it than I ever was. Okay? I can buy that. That was a necessary thing for me to do in order for our business to go to the next level. Okay? I could be a great marketer. And at the beginning of the business, I had to be. I had to bring everything I had. Right? Now we have a marketing team. Same thing with operations. Addie, my business partner and my wife, she was all operations for the first like 6-7 years of our business. She did everything. Well, guess what? Today, she manages an operations team. Right? So Jim Rohn, the great Jim Rohn, said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job or on your business. Working on your job will make you a living. Working on yourself will make you a fortune. And again, from my experience, and I talk from my personal experience, but also my interactions with dozens and dozens. I mean, I can probably count them up, and it's probably going to be close to 100 from scratch, millionaires and multimillionaires. And what happens from this business, and what happens is, in almost every case, is that they get to work on themselves more so than the thing that their business does. And so that's why this is such an important topic for me, because all these there's so many webinars, and we do them too. How to get more leads. Great. How to make more sales. How to close more sales. How to make more money. And that's all great. The challenge with all of that is, if you haven't done the work here, I can give you the greatest marketing strategy ever. I can give you the most amazing sales team. I can build them, put them together, and manage them for you and give them to you. But if you're not right here, guess what? It ain't gonna work. Okay? I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that, but it's truth. It's not going to work. See, people want to double their income, triple their income, quadruple their income. How do you do that? Well, it starts by this. Right? It starts with what you think. Because what you think is going to lead to what you believe. Down in here, right? What do I really believe about the world around me? I mean, there's a lot of crap going on right now. I'm not going to talk about any of it, But, you know, you could take either side of the argument, by the way, and you can make a case for all of the crap that is being spewed out right now. And if you listen to it long enough, you're going to start to believe it. And when you start to believe it, guess what? The actions you take are going to be, they can only follow what you believe. The actions that you take are going to create the habits that you form. What you do every day automatically. Those are your habits. We all have them. Think about your mornings. My weekday mornings almost all start the same way. Same routine, right? It's habit. And the only way you change habit is by what? By changing the things that you do. And those things that we do on a regular basis over and over and over again, most automatically, those are the things that are going to create our results. And so if you look at this, see, people want to jump right over into here. They want to jump right into actions, right? Let's get more leads. Let's make more sales. Let's hire more salespeople. Let's buy a new sales system. Let's bring on a new product. They start in the middle. They start in the wrong place, okay? So here's the truth. And again, this could be more good news, bad news for you, okay? Here's the truth about all of us. That we are all very powerful magnets. What we focus on, what we think about, what we read about, what we talk about, most is what we're going to attract into our lives. Now, I've done this in a lot more detail than I'm going to do right now. But the way that this kind of works is this is us, okay? And I talk a little bit about this in the 7 Secrets book. We have a conscious mind. Conscious mind is the one that's here, that's moving around, that's doing things, that's taking things in. We have a subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the one that's making our hearts pump, that's helping us breathe every day, that's doing all the automatic things that are keeping us alive. It's also where all of our belief systems live. So the stuff that comes in, that's why I've got a little radio antenna here. All the things that come in through that radio antenna, first they go into your conscious mind. If you spend enough time with them, then what happens? Then they get pushed into your subconscious mind. So all of the things, all of the thoughts that you're thinking go into your conscious mind. They get eventually become what we believe, and our actions are going to follow what we believe. So for example, if we believe that our customers are cheap and that they'll never pay premium pricing, well, guess what your actions are going to be? Your actions are going to be, you're going to underprice. If you believe that you're only worth $100,000 a year, well, guess what? You're going to take the actions that a $100,000 a year person takes. And by the way, at any time I throw out a number, the numbers make zero difference whatsoever because it's unique to all of us, right? What might be a big number to you might be a small number to me. What's a small number to me be a big number, you know, I mean, it just does not matter, okay? But this is how it works. This is why I say you start at the actions down here, right? It's hard to make any real change happen because what's happened, you haven't changed what's going on up here. You haven't changed what the underlying thing behind it. So a few years ago, I did this exercise where I wanted to quadruple my income. For the longest time, it was like, this was my income because that's what I thought I was worth. That's what I believed I was worth. And I needed to change that. Well, guess what I had to work on? I had to go up here. I didn't get better at selling. I didn't get better at marketing. I got better at the thoughts that went into my head and the things that I believed. And that's the only way I've seen major change happen, right? So, thoughts. Let's talk about thoughts. And I've got a guest that I'm going to bring on. So the way that this works, your thoughts create your beliefs drive your actions create your habits, and your habits are going to give you your results. So you change your thinking, you can change your life. The quality of your thinking is going to determine the quality of your life. Look, I mean, you could be in prison that you've created, a prison that you've created by the thoughts that you think and the beliefs that you hold true, right? So I am going to ask, so we're gonna, cool, Patrick, are you with us?
Yes.
Patrick, probably over the last year or so, Patrick and I have become friends, and he sends me a lot of great stuff, and we've done the podcast together, and he comes to Accelerate, and he has such a great attitude, and he's really, over the last few years, done such an amazing job with his business. And I asked him the other day if he would talk to a guy that's new in the business, but he's doing it right. He's a young guy, he's hungry, he's learning, he's getting that, hey, I don't have to learn all of this stuff on my own. He came to Accelerate. I mean, the things that this kid is doing, and I thought, man, it would be great for him, because he had some specific roofing skill set questions. And I thought, man, Patrick would be a really great guy. And Patrick was gracious enough to spend some time on the phone with him. And yes, I agree. He really is. I call him a kid, but you know, he's a grown man. He's got a wife, kids. What is he like? Rhodey, what are you, like 24 years old? To me, you're a kid still. So
sure.
So one of the things when it comes to thoughts, when it comes to what you allow into your head, is being conscious of what's going in. And I know that there's a few things that you do to I call it reprogramming of your mind. So can you talk a little bit about kind of how you get your day started? And by the way, everybody, I got to say this, his dog has the best name I've ever heard for a dog.
Yeah.
The best. Tell everybody what your dog's name is.
Dog's name is Rick.
His dog's name is Rick. I love it. It's like a friend. It's like Rick. That's Rick.
My dog Rick. I got a horse named Kevin.
And you have a horse named Kevin.
Right.
So tell us a little bit, especially like during these times, you've done well. Look, you can do the numbers that you wanted to do, but you didn't shut down. You didn't roll up in a ball. Business is great right now, but talk a little bit about some of those things, how you get your day started,
sure,
and what you've been doing.
Well, you know, I believe in movement and gratitude first thing in the morning. So I literally roll out of bed, walk straight out the door with the dog, and I talk to my dog. I'm like, hey, Rick, super grateful this morning that the sun's coming up, that you're here to take me for a walk, think about my wife, my kids, my mind, my business, my staff, you know, all the things that I'm grateful for. And you use the right word, reprogram, or maybe pre-program for the morning, right? I'm priming my brain to look for opportunities rather than threats. The threats are all the what ifs that could happen throughout the day. What if my business fails? What if everybody dies of COVID? I don't want to think about those things. So I purposely think of all the things I'm grateful for, and it programs my brain to think of opportunities. And when I get back to the house, I eat breakfast every morning, and usually with my kids, and I write down 5 of those things I'm grateful for. I write down 3 things that would make the day awesome, and I write down 5 affirmations or beliefs that I'm trying to reprogram in my brain. And I've taught my kids to do it, and we kind of do it together and talk about it. And it just sets all of us on the right path for opportunity or solutions, not problems and threats.
Yeah, because it's about what's going in, and gratitude is such an amazing way of flipping things around. Because if you start your day with the news, if you start your day with social media, if you start your day with email, that could be a lot of negative going in. And what's interesting about all of that is that it's not even your own, it's other people's that are being, thrown at you.
100%.
And so, yeah. And so by doing what you're doing, by taking on gratitude, right, you are flipping that script, and you're saying, look at all the great stuff that's happening for me,
right,
around me, in my life. Look at how blessed I am to have the family that I have, the business that I have, the dog that I have, Rick.
right.
And it completely flips the script.
It does, because you're intentionally focusing on positive things, and now your brain is going, well, that felt good. Let me do that the rest of the day.
Right. And so when you feel yourself, like all of us feel ourselves slipping at times, right?
Yeah.
What do you do? I mean, especially during these, kind of these times, what were some of the things that you did to, to get past that?
Sure. Number one is, as soon as COVID hit, no more news, no more social media. I just blocked it out. I'm not reading I'm not going to read your articles about whatever you've got going on. Can you still hear me all right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. I just saw my screen change. Anyway, but it's really, beyond that, it's just always getting back to the basics, right? I might stop and think about something I'm grateful for. I might stop and write something down. I might just write down, all right, what's this problem that I'm dwelling on? And can I solve this right now? And I write down no. The answer is no. So I'm going to just file this away. It takes practice to get your brain to be able to do these things. You can't just all of a sudden decide this afternoon, it's going to work for me. I spent, months getting to a place where, and thank God I did, that, when COVID hit, I didn't have a whole lot of stressful days. I'm not saying that we didn't have hiccups with the business. Are we going to do the numbers we thought? No, but I'm not wandering around feeling stressed by that. I went back to the basics. I mean, in the last year, I took 3 important steps that really changed the game for me. Number one was I started taking your advice, right? Using the resources I gained through the Wealthy Contractor, people I met at Accelerate, and just implementing. The second was I read your book, right? And number 6, the Wealthy Contractor takes control of their mind. What thoughts are you letting into your brain? Now, I've always been somewhat of a student of that, but I thought, man, I just really need a way to supercharge that. And as you know, I hired your friend and guest Sean Foyer to do his Thinking into Results program, and it supercharged my ability to do exactly what we're talking about, right? To think in the right direction. And there's, so whenever I kind of get stuck, I go back to your book, I go back to tricks I learned through Thinking into Results, and I just kind of recenter myself and focus on progress, not problems.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Patrick. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing. There's been a couple of really, really good podcasts with Patrick. Patrick was good enough during all of this we did that special series, Navigating Through Uncertainty. He was on episode 7 of that. So you can go back and you can listen to that whole thing. And then also you can go back and listen to the other podcast episode that we did with him. Man, thank you. I appreciate you so much. And
always grateful for you, Brian.
Encouraging. I mean, Patrick's one of those guys that'll send me an encouraging message, you know, every so often. This great encouraging message shows up, and it's from Patrick. And man, I really appreciate it. By the way, I'm being asked via text to let you guys know, Patrick Reddy Howe, for those that are, you know, that can't see us, Patrick Reddy Howe and his company is called Pond Roofing. Great business, great guy, and thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm grateful for the chance to try to help, Brian, and I appreciate you having me on here. And you know, I like to send you encouraging messages because I need you. I need you. I need you to keep hammering it for life because you help us so much.
You need me to have a good attitude.
I need you.
Yeah.
All
Some
right.
days it's hard. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, you know, so when we talk about our, you know, our thinking, one of the most powerful things that we can do, and you heard him talk a little bit about that, is really vigilantly stand guard at the door of our minds. I don't know how else to say it. And for those of you that could see the screen, on the right-hand side is us, you know, with our mind. And on the left-hand side of the screen is a completely decked out. I looked for Navy SEAL. That's how I got that image, by the way. And this guy is head to toe in protection, security, you know, and that's how we have to be, like, every minute of every day, especially lately with what's going on. Oh my God. And it doesn't matter which side of the argument you're on, which is the funniest thing about the whole thing. Is like, it doesn't matter if you're on this side or on that side. It's all equally crazy, right? And the people that think they're right are right, and the people that they think are wrong are wrong. And it's just like, oh, you know, it's a mess. So you got to stand guard, because what you allow in is what is eventually going to come out. Okay. So that is our first piece. That is the thinking. I want to we did something interesting here that we've really never done before, is that we brought on some sponsors of this webinar, some resources that I think could be very valuable for all of you. First one is Market Sharp. Market Sharp has been a partner of ours for a really long time. I know a lot of you use Market. Market Sharp is the industry's leading CRM system. Look, I'm going to just go straight. If you don't have a CRM that is helping you to run your business, when we are done, go, in fact, hold on a second. I think I can put up a poll. I'm going to launch a poll. Let us know if you are interested in learning more about Market Sharp. The other sponsor that we've got has been another partner of ours for a really long time. And they're Socius Marketing. Socius Marketing, to me, is like the only internet marketing company in the home improvement space that I really trust for our space. Replacement contractor, window siding, roofing, one-day bath. These are the guys. And guys and ladies, they're a big team, and they really, really do a fantastic job. So if you're interested in finding out more about either of these services, you can answer the poll or just go directly to their websites. I will end this poll, take this down, and we will move on now. So the next piece of this is beliefs. So beliefs are going to come from, you know, they come from all kinds of places. They come from our upbringing, our past, and really they're shaped and formed by the thoughts that we think. Recently, there she is. Hi, Anna. I'm gonna stop
Hey,
sharing
Brian.
the screen so we can have a whole conversation here. So Anna Olivier, again, another amazing podcast guest. She was also part of the Navigating Through Uncertainty, that special series. And we just recently released the podcast episode that we did before all this craziness started. And by the way, I've gotten some amazing feedback, Anna, from that episode. So thank you for sharing. But here is somebody that has been through, and for those of you that heard her podcast or listened to the podcast episode, you know her story. But I'm just going to kind of remind people here, is that okay with you, Anna?
Sure.
Like, just kind of remind people real quick of your story. So she is no stranger to challenges. All right. Probably, arguably, even much more challenging than what we've been through here. She's the owner of the Jim Olivier family of companies. She started that business with her husband. And for years and years and years, she was behind the scenes in the business, and her husband was the face of the company. Well, 12 years ago, her husband passed suddenly. And that left Anna with a decision to make. What do I do? What do I do with the business? And Anna took that by the reins and has run with it. And you could hear the whole story on the podcast. I want to ask you some specific questions, but what an incredible job you have done with over the last 12 years. She's bought buildings, and her tenant became her new business. She added Roofing Louisiana. She does like 700 jobs a year, killing it. And you have an amazing attitude.
Thank
You didn't
you.
let any of this stuff beat you down. So it's what?
It's a choice.
It's a choice. So how do you have such a positive outlook all the time? Every time I talk to her, by the way, that's how she looks. Did you see that big smile? That's how she looks. Even in the middle of all this craziness, that's how she looked. So how do you keep positive all the time?
It's a mindset. It is absolutely a mindset. We have to choose. I choose every day not to be a victim. When my husband, and when we face any kind of challenge in life, we can choose to either be a victim or we can be victorious. And so, it's a mindset. And so I choose, and sometimes it's daily. And I think, we all know as business owners, sometimes it's hourly, that we are going to choose to not be a victim and to not participate in circumstances, not to ignore them, but not to let them control us and to run in fear. I'm in control of my destiny. I can either embrace it or I can run from it. So I choose. They're daily choices that we make, sometimes moment by moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what shapes your belief. And I think that, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're like, it's all going to work out great. It's all going to work out fine. At the end of the day, that is a belief that you hold true, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes,
my wife, Addie, my business partner, is the same way. Like, for her, it's like, oh, it's all going to be great. Mm-hmm. This is just
it's all going to work out. Yeah,
it's all going to work out. And you know what? For her, it almost always does.
Mm-hmm.
It does. And it's yeah, because like you're going through life, taking the actions as if you're not afraid. You're doing the things as if they're going to work out. You know, one of the things that you said during our podcast episode about, you know, the pandemic is you talked about what you called seed time. Seed time, and a chance to plant seeds with your current and past customers, but also with yourself. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. Again, going to that mindset, it's like we could look at that. How are we going to look at that situation that we were faced with? We couldn't control what was going on with the virus, with the government. Only thing I can control is my mind and my actions. And I'm in total control of that. So I wasn't going to be controlled by my circumstances. So again, not taking that victim mentality, what could I do? What action could I take? Because fear will paralyze you. And I wasn't going to allow that to happen. So I saw it as opportunity. I love what Patrick said. I wrote it down, that we have to look for opportunities, not threats. And so I saw that environment that we were thrust into as opportunity, that it was seed time. We didn't know what was going to happen, right? And so it's like, well, let's just start planting seeds. I'm a city girl, but I know enough to know that if you don't plant seeds, you don't get a harvest. And so we didn't know if we'd be working. There was so much uncertainty at the time. So I said, well, let's just start planting seeds. Let's get out there. Let's just start planting seeds. And so we began to look at how we can do. We shifted our marketing, just taking action in everything that we did. Start to shift marketing, start to put more money into marketing, market different ways, change the message, look at how and be prepared so that we're to minimize being caught off guard. Because I think this, sometimes challenges come our way, totally catching us off guard. So we began to prepare. What if we have to do virtual visits? What do we have to shut down? What are we going to do? So I saw this as opportunity to plant seeds, to move forward, to be ready for a harvest in the future, because no matter what was going to happen, people still need home improvements. And there would be, if we didn't have any work, there was going to be a pent-up demand. That's how I saw it, a pent-up demand. And the floodgates were going to be open. So we needed to be prepared for that time, and even preparing, working on our skill sets and everything else. Nothing was going to shut down. It might look different, but we were going to keep moving forward.
So it's interesting is when you listen to people talk about these things, and for those of you, if you have the ability to kind of rewind this and go back a minute or two and listen to how the beliefs come out, right? So a lot of people rolled up into a ball and believed that everything was over. Your belief and your experience told you, no, there's opportunity in this. As bad as this is, there is opportunity in this. And that is something that is created over time. It does not happen overnight. And like Patrick, I know that you have certain habits or rituals every week. Do you mind sharing what those are, those things that you do to work on yourself?
I believe very much in working on myself to make myself a better person, a better leader. I have rituals. I get up every morning. I study my Bible. I spend time in prayer. And then I listen to a podcast every single day as I'm getting ready for some kind of podcast, marketing podcast, sales podcast. Sometimes it's some ministers podcast. So I'm always trying to fill myself up with information to improve my mindset, sometimes my skill sets. And I look to surround myself with people that can speak into my life, that are positive people, that can, kind of give me a swift kick when I need one, as well as those that I can pour into. Because, when we speak, when we give away what we know, it also reinforces what we know. If I speak negative all the time, then it's putting it in my brain. I think you were saying something similar to that. So
Yeah.
Constantly trying to seek the positive in everything.
Don't you have specific times, if I remember right, during the week that are just devoted to you, right?
Yes. Yes. Actually, I do have the two companies. They're across town from each other. And so I flip back and forth between the two, but Wednesdays are my personal development days. And so I do not go into the office. I take time to work on myself, to do podcasts, a module training, or read books on whatever topic I'm trying to improve myself, and to, just invest in myself, do head work, that kind of thing. So yes, every Wednesday, they don't see me. They know it's my day to invest in myself.
Awesome. And look, success does not happen by accident, right?
No. The work.
and luck, to me, luck is when what happens when you work really hard to prepare yourself to be open to the opportunities that are all around us. And so, Anna, thank you. I appreciate you so much.
A pleasure.
Thank you.
I appreciate you,
Yep,
Brian.
thanks for doing this. Hopefully it wasn't too clunky for you. Thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. So let's pop back here. We'll go back into the presentation. So here, when we talk about beliefs, so Gandhi said, if I have the belief that I can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it. Capacity could be the capability to do it, the skill set to do it, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean yourself, right? It could be by bringing on others, even if I may not have it at the beginning, okay? So when you're looking at beliefs, some of the action steps that you can take here is you want to do what you can to identify the stories that you tell yourself, because the stories that you tell yourself are where your beliefs really come from. And then identify the beliefs that are holding you back. Oh, I can never make that much money. Oh, I can never charge that much. Oh, I can never take time off. Oh, I only have bad people that apply to work here. Oh, my salespeople are this, or you have to rewire your brain and change those beliefs, right? Nothing will happen until you change those beliefs, okay? So and to me, this is where the real work is, okay? That to me is where the real work is. So another couple sponsors, we have a company that, again, has been a partner of ours for a long time, Sunrise Windows. I tell manufacturers all the time that come to me and they want to, hey, how could we help make our dealers more successful? How can we get more dealers? And I always say to them, the ones that come and say, well, how do we get more dealers? It's like, the contractors need another product like they need a hole in the head, right? They're not looking for a product. They're looking for, how are you going to help me make my business more successful, right? And what's interesting is what skill sets can you bring to my business to help me be more successful? And one of the reasons why I've partnered in such a strong relationship for such a long time with Sunrise Windows is because they have a actual program for their contractors to be successful. They teach you and help you market. They help you with selling. They help you with finance. I mean, all of it. They're an amazing partner. And if you are looking for a good partner, maybe you're not happy with the one that you've got now. Maybe you sell, this product or you don't sell this product. But they are a great bunch to look into. Mike and Jeff and Joe, these are some of the hardest working people in the home improvement business. And so go and visit them at sunrisewindows.com. Oh, hey, look at this company, G4 Marketing Group. That's us. This is really our office, by the way. This is not a backdrop. I was looking at this. I was looking at the screen and I'm thinking, man, that kind of looks like a backdrop. Well, nobody's here. It's just me because everybody's still at home, but they're going to be coming back hopefully in the next couple of weeks when the plague starts to subside a little bit. But G4 Marketing Group is really all about helping companies get more 5-star reviews, get more referrals, and get more repeat business. With us, it all starts with a 10-minute discovery call. And so if you are interested in that, let us know. I'm going to put up another poll if you're interested in either G4 Marketing or Sunrise Windows. Just go ahead and answer the questions there in the poll, and we will let the companies know. These breaks are good, sponsor breaks. I get to drink water. Give you guys another 30 seconds here. What's kind of cool, we looked at our clients. We had some time on our hands over the last, couple of months. And, over the last year, our clients combined have done over 100,000 jobs, 750 to about 900 million in sales. Pretty incredible, the companies that we work with. And, if you want somebody that's going to, really help you get reviews, referrals, and repeat business, we might be a good company for you. So I will end the poll now, and we will move on to our next actions. So again, like I said earlier, a lot of times this is where people want to start. They want a new selling system. They want to get more leads. They want to, they want some new whiz bang thing that's going to make something. And you need it. You need all of that stuff. But if you want growth, if you want more income, if you want more time, if you want more freedom, if you want more wealth, you can't go straight to the actions without fixing what's going on behind it, all right? But actions are important. So once you get to work on your thinking, once you get to work on your beliefs, now you got to start to take some action. And the things that you have to do in order for you to go to the next level are going to be uncomfortable, okay? And I know every time I put this up, I say, I know everybody hates to hear the whole comfort zone thing. And all of your, everything that you want is just outside of your comfort zone, and every other cliche they say. But guess what? This shit's right. Sorry, it's right. If you want to go from, again, using the same numbers, if you want to go to $100,000 a year income to $300,000, your comfort zone is 100. Anything outside of that is, guess what? It's going to get uncomfortable, right? And this is where the supporting beliefs and the thoughts come in, right? The first thing that's going to happen, by the way, when you start to take new actions that are stemming from your new beliefs, which come from your new thinking, is resistance, right? Everything is going to fight against you, starting with your subconscious mind. It is going to fight you. Why? What's its job? Its job is to keep you safe. When you're in your comfort zone, you're safe, even though it might not be good for you, by the way, but you're safe, right? If you want to get out of your comfort zone, guess what? Your subconscious mind is going to freak out, and it's going to fight you. And you got to have strength of will. You got to have strength of character. And that's, again, that's why all of these things work together. So I want to bring up, is Candy, Valerie? Yes, she is. Awesome. So Candy from City Roofing, Cabo Verde. She could probably say her name better than me. You would think my wife is Cuban, my kids are Cuban. You would think that I would pick up a few things and be able to say verde better. Verde. How's that, Candy? Candy's muted, by the way. How can we unmute?
That's pretty good. You have to roll the R.
I can roll the R's. That I can do. I'm Armenian, so I kind of have the rolling of the R thing. But Candy and her business partner, Mario, who also happens to be her husband and the father of her 18 children, these two, man, when you talk about, so I've known you guys for like 3 or 4 years, and Candy is like, when you talk about taking action, hold on, I'm gonna make you bigger here. Hold on, let me do that, stop sharing. There she is. When we talk about taking action, man, oh man, have you guys taken some action over the last, well, probably the whole time you've been in business, but in the time that I've known you, the stuff that you guys have done, wow. So let's talk a little bit about that. Now, obviously she doesn't have 18 kids, but tell everybody, how many do you have?
5.
And where do you run your business?
So we have behind our house, we have our office. So it's a little mini house, and I've had the privilege of being able to work the business and raise the kids and do all of that. And it's been a blessing. It really has.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like they have, a little bit of land, and so they go in the back, and that's where the business is, and they can go back and forth in the house, and I don't know. So how do you guys do it? How do you juggle the personal and professional? People ask me and Addie that all the time, and it's not easy. So how do you and Mario do it?
It's extremely challenging. You want to put family first, and you don't want the family to interfere with a business. So with this whole COVID outbreak, I was homeschooling 5 kids, and I'm thinking, how am I gonna do this? How are these kids gonna pass? At this point, I didn't care that they got A's. I just want them to pass. So things got really clear fast. And then realizing, okay, I can't be working at 8 o'clock at night. We need to have some boundaries here. And it seemed like nothing was in a routine. All of our routines, all of our structure, everything went downhill. And recreating that and failing, trying, failing, getting frustrated, the breakdowns was a personal growth moment for me. And I decided, okay, I'm just gonna do enough to move on. It doesn't have to be perfect. So what is really gonna count? For the kids, I only did what was graded. I had that conversation with the principal. I said, we are not doing this BS. We're only doing what's graded, so give it to me just black and white. And with the business, I did the same thing. Well, I just cut down our budget. We figured what our numbers needed to be. I was very transparent with my people. We gave them sales goals every month, production goals every month, and then we would track it every week. And amazingly, I guess, of course, this has to do with mindset. Since I was giving it mind and we had a plan, we hit our numbers in the middle of an economic, downturn, this COVID thing. And now looking at it, I'm like, this happened. This is amazing. But it's here. It's here.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just said something interesting about numbers. And I know this is something you and I have talked about for quite some time is the numbers and tracking the numbers. How important is that in this business that we all do, this home improvement business?
This is critical. This is just like, I don't know about you, but quarantining at the house and the whole thing, we're eating all the time, drinking all the time. The last thing I wanted to do was to get on the scale. So my business numbers was just like that scale. If you're not checking on that scale, well, guess what? 10, 15 pounds will creep up on you like nothing. And you can't afford to get it out of control. If you're monitoring it every day or every week, then you can gauge and you can get a plan and you can, retract, you can make changes. But it's hard to make a change after 3 months of just eating through all your food and drinking your entire cabinet.
Yeah. There was a lot of that going on. It's interesting. I know you and I have talked about numbers a lot and tracking numbers. The other day, I want to be careful that I don't reveal too much, but I was in my mastermind group, and one of the guys in the group owns a success. All of us have multi-million-dollar businesses, but he's in I'm not going to say the niche that he's in. It doesn't matter. And so we were talking about what's been going on over the last, 2 or 3 months. How are we all doing? How are we shaking out? And I have been vigilant about our numbers because we had some drop off. And so we had to really look at the numbers and the budgeting, and we do EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. So every week we're having meetings and we're tracking the key numbers in our business. And I asked this guy, he wants to know, well, how come we're not converting as well, in our sales process? And he's going on and on and on about, converting in the sales process. I'm like, well, how much revenue did you do last month compared to, months before? The revenue number was really strong. And I said this was on the 10th or the 11th, I think, of June. And I said, well, how'd you do in May? You're talking about how your sales process is my sales process broken? We're not selling enough, we're this and we're that. I said, well, but how much money did you make? And he looked at me and he said, I don't know. And I said to him, I said, how can you not know? And I got a little upset. Not upset, but I'm like, it's tough love. It's like, that's what a mastermind group is. And then I said, so tell me about your, how does that process work? And it turns out he's got a controller that he pays almost $10,000 a month to. And I'm like, how the hell is it that I'm asking you on the 10th of June, how much money you made last month, and you're paying somebody 10 grand a month for $1,000 a month job, that you don't have that number? And how is it that you're tolerating that? How is it that you're okay with that? And we had it was a heated conversation because I care about the guy. He's in my group, but he's been with me for 2 years. I care about him. First you're getting stolen from, but then the other thing is you're navigating this thing where you think the problem is here, but I think the problem is, over here. And this is something you guys have done. And I didn't mean to go off on a big rant, but that's something you guys have done a lot of too over the last couple of years, right? Is really getting dialed in on the numbers of the business and how they impact.
Absolutely. I did the budget this year. We projected to do, the 4.5. We had to redo it, shave everything down and then track it. And it's liberating, right? When you have the information, you have the numbers, you can make the decisions, you're not driving blindly. And then when you're hitting it and your team members are on the same page and they're like, how are we hitting these numbers in the middle of this catastrophe? Then it kind of everybody gets lit up. Everybody is passionate about their job. I mean, our people have worked harder and longer hours than ever before. They're shining so bright. Our reviews are, on point, our customers. And one of the podcasts that you did with, I think it was Tom Reber?
Yeah.
Yes, staying strong in the mindset, price, profit.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get my routine going. I'm doing my jog and I'm listening to this and I'm like, this is exactly it. I said, we need to do something for our customers. We need to go back, pull the reports, see, you know, how many people have referred us, and we just need to let them know, hey, we're here, we're family, we're with you. So it got, you know, my brain going, and we made, I brought one just to show it to you because you inspired this. You guys inspired these baskets, which.
Cool.
Yes. And so all of our people that, you know, have referred us over the past couple of years, you know, 4 or 5 times, we're going, delivering these baskets saying, hey, we're here. We hope you and your family are safe. We appreciate your business. And we're hoping for a better end of 2020. And those people have not only touched our lives, but that's like that continual revenue that's going to come in for the rest of, you know, the time that we're in business. And it's so important to sow back into that. And I feel like that podcast really brought light to us. So we started that project and I stopped worrying. I mean, I still track my numbers, but it's incredible. It's like you're sowing, like Anna said, you're sowing into customers. We started getting all these calls of referrals. I'm like, you know, this mindset, belief thing, energy, it's true, it works. And it's liberating because you can control your destiny. Yeah.
And Candy, you always have, you know, you're always so pleasant to be around. You're another one. You're always smiling, even though you got all this stuff going on. You're always smiling. You always have a positive attitude. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Nice.
Go back and listen. By the way, her podcast, and oh, here's the other thing I didn't tell everybody, is we're getting Accelerate 2021 ready. And I asked you, I think, didn't I? I haven't asked you yet, but everybody else that is my guest on the podcast, I've asked to join me at Accelerate on special panels. We're going to have a couple of different panels that we're going to do. And you're on my list, by the way. So we'll talk about that separately. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Everybody go back and listen to, hold on, let me go back to the slide here. Which episode? Hers was episode 8. Episode 8 in the in that special series, Navigating Through Uncertainty. So here's some action steps, you know, for action, right? Look at what you're doing every day. What are the activities that are taking up your day? And a lot of times you'll find that there's a lot of stuff that you should not be doing, that somebody else should be doing, or time is being wasted. Me, you know, over the last couple months, that's something I've been wrestling with. So I've wasted a lot of time, but, you know, I'm aware of it and I'm working on it. I always say success doesn't come from doing what everyone else does. Success comes from the willingness to do the things that others won't do. And so people like Candy, people like Anna, people like Patrick, they take time out to work on themselves. It's not only about, oh, I just need to sell more, oh, I just need to, they're working on themselves. And then the important thing also with actions is, what are those actions resulting in? You need to know that if I'm going to bring on a new, again, I keep going back to selling system just because it's an easy example that I think all of you will understand. Well, how are you measuring the effectiveness of that? Is that successful for you? Is it not successful? Are people accountable for results, or are they not accountable for results? Are the actions that you are taking moving you closer to the results that you really want, right? So the next thing here is the actions are going to create the habits, the things that we do every day automatically. And another guy here, Matt Hollander from Hulco, he could not be with us today because he's golfing. But Matt was kind enough to create a short 2-minute video for us. I'll tell you, this guy, what he's done over the last few years with his business and how he's used his business to grow his personal wealth is really incredible. He's also going to be at Accelerate. He's going to be one of our guests at Accelerate. But if you listen, I did the Navigating Through Uncertainty with him, and then we released the podcast that I had done before all of this with him. Check out this video that he made for all of us. Hopefully you guys can hear this.
Hey, Brian, thanks for having me on today with these other awesome guests and all the attendees. I appreciate you asking me to say a few words about mindset. I'm very passionate about mindset, and I'll give you my thoughts on it here in just a couple of brief minutes. You know how Brian and I have spoke many times about how I like to focus on the end result and then have the confidence to achieve it. My daughter's a competitive golfer, and I always tell her, you know, don't be arrogant or cocky, but you can be confident that you can get the results you want. And that complaining has absolutely zero value. But I want to encourage everyone to not doubt, because if you see other companies doing something you want to do, then you can do it too. And I've just always had that mindset. You know, it's the saying, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And many times over the last 3 or 4 decades, Jim Rohn always spoke about diseases of your attitude. And it's just as important as a disease like heart disease or any other disease. So, you know, I was thinking this morning of an example to give. And when I opened our second location in Knoxville, I had a picture of what it would look like when it was finished. How much volume we would do, how much profit we would make, the culture we would create there, similar to our first location. And we struggled. I probably lost $500,000 in the first 2 years. But we've turned the corner. We're in year 3 now, and my vision is becoming a reality. And when you think about mindset, I got to thinking about my different sales folks and how you can have 2 different salespeople that work at the same company with the same education and the same training, selling the same products, but yet one salesman makes $200,000 a year and one salesman makes $100,000 a year. And why is that? And it's because of mindset. So just keep in mind that nothing will change unless you change. I hope I gave you something to take with you today. And if there's anything I can ever do to help you, Brian, or any of the attendees here today, just let me know, and have a great Thursday.
So here's another guy that, you know, just really got a great attitude, and he's had his bumps. I mean, look, he opened a second location, lost a bunch of money. And this is a guy that was, you know, with a clear vision, and, you know, it doesn't always go the way that we planned, but because of the, you know, when you look at that ladder, right, the actions, you know, they took actions based on the experiences that they had. You know, their company is, you know, it's been around for so long, they had certain habits, right? And those habits came from the actions. But if you look beyond that, it's what does he believe? What does he think, right? And the example he gives about the salespeople, you know, the difference between this one and this one is all about mindset. It's think about it. How is it possible that you have, you know, he has a bunch, but call it, you know, 6 salespeople, right? And if you do, let's make the math easy, actually. 10 salespeople. I won't go too deep into the whole 80-20 Pareto principle here, but you have 10 salespeople. 2 of them are going to make as much money probably as all the other 8 combined, or pretty close. Well, why is that? They work for the same company, selling the same product. They have the same training. They're getting the same leads. And yet 2 of them out of the 10 are knocking it out of the park and making multiples of what the others are. What is that? What's the difference? It's all of what we've been talking about here. It's what do they think? What do they believe? Based on those beliefs, what are the things that they do? You know, like with salespeople, it's kind of easy to look at this and say, well, do you believe that we charge too much? If you do, you're going to sell less, right? Because they are going to take actions based on that belief. And those actions are, they're going to be timid in asking for the order. They're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to make the customer uncomfortable, or the prospect uncomfortable, and they're not going to buy. Or they're going to skip something in the presentation, right? And they're not going to do it completely because they've already got this idea going in their head that, oh no, we charge too much. Oh no, these people can't afford it, right? And so that's why, to me, this whole conversation of mindset is so important and something that's not talked about enough in our industry. So our last two sponsors, real quick, and then I've got some good stuff for you to wrap up, and then we're going to give away the books. Let me just look at my notes and make sure I'm hitting everything I'm supposed to hit. I am. Okay, so remember what I told you about Sunrise Windows and about what a great program they have? These guys are the same. Jacuzzi bath remodel, bath wraps. Some of you know them as bath wraps. These guys are just unbelievable. And I wish I knew what markets they had available, because there aren't that many left where they need a really good dealer. But take a look at this. Their top 20 dealers average $30 million in annual retail sales. Their top 20 dealers. They provide leads. They provide a selling system that's like second to none. So if you're looking for a product to add, the one-day bath business is amazing. And they'll show you how to do the whole thing. And then finally, last but not least, my good buddy Mark at Marlamar. If you are using texting in your business or you are not using texting, he corrected me. This is not only for people that are not using texting, it's for people that are using texting the wrong way. If you are not using texting to create leads, set leads, confirm appointments, follow up with customers after the fact, you are missing out. You're making nowhere near the money that you should be making. And for a really very inexpensive investment, Marlamar will show you, they'll give you the platform to use. We actually use it here. They will give you the platform to use. And one of the things I love about these guys is that he gives you like all the script. You don't have to figure out, well, what does my email, what does my text message have to say in order to set an appointment, right? They've already got so much language built into this thing, and I think they build it out even for you. So if you are using text messaging, but you're maybe not using it as well as you could be using it, or if you're not using text messaging at all, this is a great solution for you. And again, very, 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 very affordable. All right, so I put the poll up. If you are interested in a dealer program that absolutely kicks ass, that is, it's probably, I always use them and somebody else as an example of a great, like amazing dealer programs. Well, them and a couple of other people, but bath wraps and jacuzzi bath remodel, they are way, way up there. So, okay, I'm going to end this poll. No more commercials. But hey, look, this is all, I'm fine. I don't apologize for doing commercials because this is all stuff that you guys need, right? Be in this business. Don't, you know, one of our big things with the Wealthy Contractor is, why are you going to try and reinvent the wheel? These people are all partners in your success. Otherwise, we would not be working with them. They are partners, and they are the best partners in the business. So CRM, internet marketing, relationship marketing, window dealer, bath dealer, text messaging, all of these people, there's one thing that we all have in common, and that is we want to see our clients be more successful. All right, so to wrap things up, the last piece here is results. So one of the things that I am a firm believer in is, in business, we have to have a clear vision of what we want. You heard Matt talk about it. You've got to begin with the end in mind. In the book, in the 7 Secrets book, the #1 secret, by the way, none of them are just between us. These aren't secrets, okay? But they are put together in a way where, you know, they can absolutely transform everything that you do. And we use the word secrets because it gets people to pay attention, just a little behind the scenes. But it'll change your life. Especially the first thing is figure out exactly what you want, and then figure out what it's going to cost to make that happen, right? And then you got to ask yourself, why do I want it? See, one of the biggest things with business people is, it's like the example I gave before of the guy in my mastermind group. It's like, he just wants more sales, more sales, more sales. And I keep asking, well, why do you want more sales? How much money do you want to make? And it's a hard question for him to answer. He just wants more sales. Well, why do you want more sales? Right? And so I ask people all the time, well, why'd you go into business for yourself then? If you can't tell me why you want more sales, why'd you go into business for yourself? And typically it's time and money are the two big things. Time and money are the big things. And lately I've been using impact. What's the difference that we can make in the world? Because I have a lot of clients that are doing some stuff where, they want to make a big impact in the world. And it could be any other thing, but it's ultimately at the bottom line of all of this is it's all about freedom, right? It's about freedom. This is why we went into business for ourselves. And what a lot of people forget very quickly is the business, all of this around me, for me, is only a vehicle. It's only a vehicle to get me what I really want in life, right? And so for me, time, having freedom of time is important. Freedom of money to make as much money as I want to make. Freedom to be able to make an impact on people's lives. That is why my business exists, right? But I have to understand what it is that I really want. What does this thing need to look like so that I can have what I want? Too many people in business today are just like more. Well, more what? That caused me to go bankrupt because I was not clear about, well, what kind of lifestyle do I really want to live? And then if I know that, and how much wealth do I want to accumulate? How much time do I want to take off? Well, once I know that and I'm clear about it and I have a vision of what it looks like, then I can start to build a business that delivers that. But if you're not clear yourself about what it is that you want, then you get stuck in this trap where people believe that, oh, well, I need a $5 million business, or I need a $10 million business, or a 20 million, whatever the number is, so that I can one day be successful. That's bullshit in almost every case. I believe that, and it hurt me, right? So today, for me, it's all about helping business owners in the home improvement space get very clear about what it is that they really want and what does that look like. How much money is it going to take you to have the life that you want? Once we understand that, now we could start to build the business around it. Now we can understand, well, this is how much we have to sell. And if we know how much we have to sell, then we know how many jobs we have to. And if we know how many jobs, then we know how many leads we need. And if we know how many leads we need, we know how many salespeople. And it just, and then you track all of that. And it's just, to me, it's a better way of doing business. And by the way, this is how my most successful clients do it. They know what the end looks like, and then they work towards that. The people that have the toughest time, me 20 years ago, it's like, oh, I just need more. If I just get more, if I just sell more, I'm finally going to get what I want. In most cases, that's not true. And by the way, this goes all back to the beginning where I talked to you about the income. It's like if you're making $100,000 a year today and you want to make 300,000 or 500 or $1 million or whatever the number is, right? What has to change? What has to change is what you think and believe about who you are, about what you're worth, about what's available and possible for you. So to go back again to why is this mindset over skill set? Well, if you want to do something you've never done before, Okay, so if you have $1 million business now and you want a $3 million business because you're going to make $500,000 a year and you're going to be able to buy apartment buildings, and in 15 years you're going to have a passive income of $15,000 a month and you'll never have to worry about money again, right? You have to change your thinking to become that person, because that person is not who you are today. And that's why I love this thing so much. To achieve something you've never done before, you're going to have to become someone you've never been before, right? So when I talk about how I quadrupled my income. Well, did I quadruple my income by changing my selling system? Did I quadruple my income by getting more leads? No. 95% of the work that I did was becoming the person that was worth 4 times more in my head. Once I got it here, it took less than 2 years to make it happen out here. You are the creator of your reality, good, bad, or ugly, okay? In every moment, if you get nothing else from today, okay, from this, in every moment, you have a choice to make, okay? You get to decide how you respond to what happens to you, okay? In every moment. So you could fill that, like all my guests, with positivity, intention, doing the work that it takes to rewire the brain. Or you can run by default and just let life happen to you, right? Success, wealth, and freedom, or miserable, broken, imprisoned. It's entirely your choice. So, question, mindset over skill set. Are you willing to do the real work? The real work, a lot of it, most of it starts here. And I hope that you've gotten some tools here that will help you think about this in a different way, that maybe you've gotten some encouragement from the guests, and what's working and what's not working. And if I can help you with anything, I'm going to open up to questions in just a minute. You can start putting, if you have any, you can start putting them into either the chat box or the Q&A. But we promised that we would give these 5 books away. And I believe, Valerie, are you going to come in here and how are you going to do this?
Yeah, so I just sent them to you by message, but I can read them off here. So
Please do that.
Yeah, so we have Christopher Spar of Spar Corp, Steve Benass of A&D Home Improvements, Adam Lemke of Sunbelt Home Solutions, Deirdre Edwards of Tri-County Services, and Paul Lukowski of Tundraland Home Improvements. So we will be sending you emails to get your addresses, and we'll send these to you.
Awesome. Cool. So for those of you that did not get a free copy of the book from here, you can, you just have to pay shipping and handling. So the people that got the 5 books don't even have to pay shipping and handling. But if you want a copy of the 7 Secrets to Becoming a Wealthy Contractor, you can go to thewealthycontractor.com. This is what you'll find when you get there. And you can get a copy of the book. You just pay shipping and handling. $6.95 in the States. I think it's $11.95 outside of the States. All right, that's at thewealthycontractor.com. Let me see. Do we have questions? Do we have questions? So I'm going to go to the chat here. Okay, book winners. There's some new names. Cool. Okay. Questions? Anybody? 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 Questions? No questions? Really? Okay. Patrick cracks me up. I'm not going to ask that question. He put a funny question in there about my book. My book can be just a starting point for you. There's lots of other really, really good books too. And you should read them all. But read them all, but then also do, like all of the people that I brought on today, they're all doers too. And they do the ugly. They do the ugly, the stuff that, it's not easy to rewire what we think. It's not easy to change what we believe. But here's the beauty of it. Here's the beauty of it. This is something that we don't talk about a lot, is that once you do it, you've done it. You're at another level, right? And so it would take a lot to have you go back to the other level, right? I mean, it's really fascinating. Somebody just said they went to the wealthycontractor.com, but I can't find the book info. No, it's there. Thewealthycontractor.com. Here. Oops. I'll leave that up there. So what's really interesting is that, you know, once you get yourself to a certain level, whether it's income or time or whatever it is, if your belief system and your belief structure is supporting that 100%, like this is our new normal, if you will, it's very, very, very tough to fall off of that and go back. Very tough. So part of the big reason why you see people become successful, and then what happens? Then they lose it, right? It's because, not in every case, but in a lot of cases, and I speak from experience on this, is because the work wasn't done here first. It wasn't done enough. It wasn't, it didn't become who they are, you know, through that belief structure. And that's what causes it to go back. Look at lottery winners. You know, they're a perfect example. You know, here's somebody that's making, you know, 30 grand a year, that buys lottery tickets, right? Wins $100 million, right? How do you go from making $30,000 a year to now being worth $10 million or $20 million, right? It is a mind F. I won't say the word, but it is a total and complete mind F every minute of every day. And what those people do is they start to get rid of the money because they need to come back to where they're comfortable. They need to come back to where their thinking and their belief structures are. The smart ones are the ones that don't spend a penny until they get their heads right. And they're very rare, by the way, very rare. And it's the same thing with business owners. You know, some people build a business to $10 million, they make a ton of money, and then all of a sudden, you know, the warts start to show. Okay, the warts start to show and they start to fall apart. So anyway, Q&A. Oh, there are questions. Hold on. Let's see. Could be super candy. How has your change in mindset affected your team? Do they keep you in check when you fall off the train? How is the culture? Now, I don't know if you are asking me that or one of the others. But I know that Patrick has a good hold on culture in his organization. I know that Anna also has very good hold on culture. I know that my friend that I was talking about, the guy that's in my mastermind group, his culture is there's some broken stuff in the culture. And I think that it has a lot to do with where he's focused and what he's thinking. Look, they follow us. We're the owners. And if we have a bad attitude, well, guess what? They're going to have a bad attitude. I've never met anybody that works for Anna Olivier, but I would imagine they're probably some of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. I've been to Patrick's office, and I met a few of the people that work there, and they are like him. They're just chill. They're not like, like stressed out. They're a lot like him. Candy's people, they're a little intense. They're like her and her husband Mario. They're a little bit intense, and when I was there once, and I met with their people once, and their people were a little bit like that. So they're kind of gonna. Candy is saying LOL true. Any tips on helping team members that don't have the right mindset? So one of the things, you can't see it here, but this is the area where our people work, the account managers and the junior account managers work. And on that wall over there, we have our 4 core values. And one of our core values is step it up. And step it up is really all about this. It's all about how can we grow as people? How can we get better? And how can we help the ones around us get better? And so it's got to be something that you bring into your business, and you lead by example. You lead by example. I'm very lucky that my business partner has a really good attitude almost like 99% of the time. Me, she has to work on me sometimes, right? And so, but when we're together, we're united fronts. We have to be, right? At least that's what I hope. Addie can probably speak to that. And maybe that would be different. Julie's asking about, do you have good Wealthy Contractor podcast episodes that you can suggest for helping your team get a better mindset? I think a webinar devoted to that could be super helpful. One of the things, I'll tell you, one of the things that we have found, and I think one of the best ways that I can do that is probably by having Caesar, who is our EOS implementer, maybe him and I can do something together, because one of the things that really, really helped our organization was getting very clear on who we are, what our values are, what our goals are, where we're going, and getting very clear about who are the right people and who are the wrong people. So if you've got the wrong people that don't want to learn and don't want to grow, those people have to go. You gotta have the wherewithal to be able to say, hey, you gotta go. The other thing is, and Anna just reminded me about this, Anna says, we have done mindset training with staff to help them see limiting beliefs and offer opportunities to change mindsets. So one of the things that we make available here, so my office, there's a ton of books. Actually, hold on, I'm going to show you one, a good one. So this is a book that I love, Julie. You may have heard me talk about it before. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. This book, if you have people that are open to the idea, they have to be open to the idea that they can improve their mindset. Otherwise, it's a wasted exercise, right? And then you have to decide whether or not you want that type of person in your business. But this would be a good book to give to people. She's entertaining. This is one of the best personal development books I've ever read, and I've read a ton of them. And I gift it a lot. And so that's an idea. Anna does mindset training in her office. Another person, Bob Quillin. So I'm not sure I've done two episodes with him. Bob Quillin calls his company a personal development company that happens to sell windows. And he's all about personal development. And in fact, I think, no, actually, Julie, that might be a good one to go back and listen to, because I think he talks about because I remember asking him about it. It's like, how do you get your people to go to meetings where you talk to them about their finances, where you talk to them about their fitness, you talk to them about their friends and their family. He has these F's, 7 F's, I believe. And he does training every single week with his people. Now, these trainings are not mandatory, they're optional, but I would imagine, knowing Bob, that if people are not participating in those, at least on some regular basis, they probably aren't a good fit for the company, and he probably exits them and replaces them, I would imagine. All right, so good questions though, great questions. I always find it interesting too. It's like, you know, Candy was a guest. I asked her to come and share, and yet she's coming back and asking questions. Success leaves clues. You know, there's a reason why people are the way that they are. Yeah, Lamar, we'll send you a, oh, okay. Valerie already took care of it. I was just looking to see if there are any more questions. There are not any other questions. So Anna, I'm sending you a quick message. Okay, so that's it, everybody. I know we went way over today. Way over, but there's still more than half of you are still here that were here originally. So wow. If you want to see more of this, let me know. I've got a ton more. You know, those people that go to Accelerate, you know, I do a lot of this at Accelerate. In fact, this is what we start with. You know, I don't just jump into leads and sales and internet marketing and all of that stuff. We lay the groundwork first. Okay. This is what we do first. And it's funny, if, you know, my first book, the How to Double Your Profits in 6 Months or Less book, that book came as I was doing consulting work. And I realized very, very quickly that if people's mindset wasn't right, I could come up with the best ideas you know, that'll completely transform their business. But if their mindset's not right, it's DOA, dead on arrival. And so the first book I wrote, the whole first section actually starts with mindset. And then, of course, this book is all about mindset. You won't hear anything. There's nothing in here about selling jobs. There's nothing in here about how to price jobs. This is a book all about mindset, okay? And you know, I was joking earlier about, you know, their secrets. You know, they're not really secrets. But when you first read them, if you have not been exposed to them, they're powerful. And the reason I called it secrets is because if you've not been exposed to it, if you've not heard these ideas before, then it is something that to you is new, which makes it, you know, and it's something that all successful people do. Every successful person that I know, all 7 things that are in this book, they do, right? And so anyway, that is the book. And that is this webinar. Still so many of you here, really? No questions? All right, I'm gonna go have lunch. I'm hungry. This makes me hungry. All right, bye y'all. Thank you.